hello, this is Pixie. Some real strange stuff with the sunset there, very red. And it's just heading up to about 8 o'clock where I live. Yeah, I'd just like to say thank you. Thank you for your kind messages. Some people do write some nice ones and got a few unkind ones, but I just live with that. It's usually if they're constructive I'd actually take notice, like you know, like something very factual, or someone's got a point of view I can research, you know, that kind of stuff used. But if somebody said, oh, that looks like you make rubbish, something like that, it's not really going to the value of that comment, really. Just I've got a different opinion to you, that's what that person's demonstrating. And their ability to understand. Yeah, we've got a really crazy sound. Yeah, the sunset's pretty cool. Really sort of rustic red. So is this Planet X coming in, or something else? Maybe just a normal sunset. Definitely is changed though. They do look different at night. Seems a lot lighter. I mean, this could be for all sorts of reasons. But I think it also does sort of tie in with the Planet X phenomena, or something, anyway, space weather in some way. Not back, right, good. Yeah, so that's one thing I sort of thought to mention about. Just see it's looking so red, and I thought, wow, that's interesting. I mean, last time I saw something saw that kind of red colours, and that was in Australia, and that was a good few years ago now. Flew into Australia, a very long trip. I wouldn't rush to do it again, or even that doing segments. So you just waste you, especially if you're travelling for 36 hours. It takes about a day to get across the world, and then you've got to heading downwards as well. It's a bit. Yeah, some people just lost it as well. Maybe that's the other effect of Planet X, to start losing their minds, they get scrambled by signals. You just walk out in the road and stuff like that. So yeah, so that's one element I was going to sort of mention about. Sort of got concerns about where the latest Trump venture's going. It's just, I mean, he's a nice enough bloke at one level. Yeah, obviously I don't know him personally. I don't think anyone does, but I think jumping into these sort of riots and stuff is another agenda, and it's this police state stuff. And it's similar stuff happens in the UK as well, is that they were sort of like having Trump protests here, and I was thinking there's no connection. Or Black Lives Matter. I mean, it's a different ball game here. There's not police aren't killing people. You know, none of that's happened for ages, to be honest. On occasions there are some stuff, and it's usually around mental health. They're very poor, and a person could be black, white, or any colour really. They just don't have to deal with people with mental health. And if they give them a lot of crap, basically, or they kicked off, they have a sort of tendency just to leave them and let them suffer. But sometimes they're so volatile that they end up very red, very red. You can't really see how red the sunset is. I certainly can. It's basically there's always limitations to cameras, and so yeah, I think I'm just concerned about the military plans. There's obviously this. We've got to have some kind of a war here, or a world war, or kick something off, and I can't see any good coming from it. It's just going to set US as the enemy, I guess. I mean, why did Soros take out a load of his stock? I thought it was a Rothschild. They end up selling a lot of their shares at once. So it's like the final stages for something. They know something's going on. Somebody doesn't sell that many shares without it gives some indication of something's going to happen. That's just around the corner, really. So yeah, I don't see why they keep pushing the pressure of some type of war. And what are the real concerns of the people? There's a kind of separation of the politics, what the elite believe is going on, and they keep trying to tell people, oh yeah, it's to protect American civilians and stuff like that. What are the biggest concerns to American civilians? I think more of them get killed by cars and terrorists. I don't think somebody with a gun in Afghanistan is going to be a threat to America. It's going to be what's going on the sort of the home turf that's going to be the issue. It's not going to be affected by what happens to the other side of the world. And I really feel sorry for these guys, because you think of it, if you're just getting bombed your country and it's a mess, it never recovers an infrastructure, and I think that's what it's about. It's about maintaining a poverty belt over there, because we can't have countries rising up, seeking sovereignty and independence, having the capacity to defend themselves, and also objecting to the way the system's being run. So having everything keyed into like dollars or some system like that, having all the gold being sort of managed by a Rothschild banking cartel, and yeah, just like this crazy Jewish sort of takeover, really, isn't it, of the world? Strange night, we've got loads of cars out, it shouldn't really be that busy. I had a car right up the backside and approached a roundabout, and for some reason it looked different, so I was thinking, well, it can't be this other roundabout. It just had this strange feeling. It could be talking as well, but it's never usually an issue. Driving along the snow this route anyway. So yeah, so just going back to this Trump, he doesn't have as much control as people think. It's always the people behind the scenes that you don't vote for pull all the strings. It wouldn't matter Hillary, Bernie Sanders, anybody who steps in there, they'll be controlled. What they really want is people that they got something on, people that can be manipulated, so that way they can, so they don't go against them, don't grass or anything like that. So it's a shame that these things are like that, but that's just the way the system is. It's all kind of rigged, and it won't really change. It's not under its current format. It's becoming more of a corporate situation. If you want to vote, you have to buy shares in the corporation, and that's really seems to be the main structure for it. Insanely red skies, it really is. I tell you what, I'll be surprised if I don't see bloody Nibiru around the corner or something, or Nemesis flying past. A while back I did actually have a dream, and it was quite a powerful dream, and basically someone said, look, there's the moon, it's red. No, it's not the moon. I looked at it and I said, no, it's Nibiru. And then I looked at these other things that were close by as well, and they were basically some sort of satellite type moons, or possibly some type of planets that were with it as well, but they were very rocky, and the planet had this like triangle thing on it. So it had craters, really deep craters into it, but it had something that looked sort of artificial. So I was wondering if some type of base or something else lives in that part of Nibiru, really. So yeah, very strange stuff. Last night I've also had a dream, and I've been thinking about taking some San Pedro. Now San Pedro is St. Peter, and it's a cactus, a Peruvian cactus, and basically it has, it can bring on these basically hallucinogenic effects. So it's sort of an interest, and I've been doing some other sort of research as well into can I add it to things, or sort of, you know, can I mix it with hummus and make something else? So yeah, so there's lots of interesting research I'm looking at the moment, and it feels like the cactus is cooling. I don't know if that makes any sense to anyone. I guess it does if people actually take it, but there's something spiritual about it. And yesterday there was a dream, and there was something in it. I had a dream. I was in America, and I was stopped by some type of warden to a national park. She was checking all my ID and stuff, and then she was asking about if I had tickets to get in. She felt I was suspicious in some way. Maybe because in the dream it just seemed a bit weird as well. Road formations change. So yeah, so just very unusual experiences. And then I saw this face, and it was like a face, human face, but in bark, and it looked like it wanted to talk to me, but it sort of come to out of the dream. So it's almost like I was channeling this person who's in America, which is quite unusual. Yeah, so that was interesting. I'm going to have to probably look into it a bit more. I do a lot of research anyway, and I don't typically take things. What am I doing? Right, my balloon. There we go. Because I wonder if I'm going to go backwards or forwards into a parking space. There's nothing here anyway. There's no one here. So I can. Anyway, so I was going to do some other research, and the other area of research as well would be like mad honey as well, so that'd be interesting. So anyway, this picks the sun off, and I'll speak to you soon. So hello, it's Pixie Den, part 2 I guess. That's what I was talking about earlier on. Yeah, Trump stuff. What's going on? He doesn't really have powers to control it. I mean, he's reversing what he's also saying about some of his theories about, you know, they like to say about conspiracy theories. So now, what was it, 9/11 really happened in the way that the state, well, the government version is. And that being that it happened in Afghanistan, and it was planned by someone who went to Oxford University. Yeah, it's just a load of rubbish really, isn't it? I don't think anyone really believes it. Quite frankly, don't believe anything you see on TV. That's the safest way of doing it, getting through life. Because when they had protests about Trump, for example, they were trying to push him over here. We had stuff on the BBC radio, and I got sick of listening to it. They're like, you know, why not make a Guy Fawkes and make it look like Trump because he's a really scary person. They're really pushing this narrative. And the thing is, no one's really interested in the UK. All we want to do, I mean, yeah, sure, we want to get along with America, but we're not sort of caught up in this political stuff so much. It's not that interesting anyway. I mean, so for some reason we know more about the US politics nowadays than we do our own. I mean, I haven't got a clue what Theresa May's doing recently. Maybe she should get on social media and everyone would know about her. But it's just a bit of a joke, I don't know. It's, so yeah, so we're not kicking off stuff to do with Trump. One of the things I noticed is the same posters and everything exactly the same were being used. So that tells me that it's the same group that are basically, you know, exporting their posters over to the UK so they can use them. And how cheap they are, they can't even invent any new ones. So they've got the same slogans, the same chants, everything. It's just not Western. I mean, well, it's just not part of the UK's culture. So it just seems stupid because we're not like that. We're not petty over here. We're quite serious and quite straight about things. We don't pretend to run around pretending we're victims. That's something that indoctrination happened over in America. They sort of like, you know, you have to be quite dramatic all the time about stuff. And I mean, that's its own culture's developed, but it's sort of like you've got this kind of narcissistic, sadistic type culture that's trying to be injected into the American people. So it's okay to be abusive, but as soon as you're abused, you've got to go off on one and go full on the attack. So it's a bit like with Simon Cowell. When Simon Cowell went over to started doing some of these shows in America, it was really funny, the interest in the way, the cultural response, because he says things, and if it comes out sarcastic, they feel that they've been emotionally attacked in some way, and so they kind of, you know, they're really ready to have a fight over it with Simon Cowell. That was quite funny one of the episodes. So yeah, but back to Trump. It's been funded by the same people, it's been pushed by the same groups. It's all about this deep state politics and stuff. It doesn't reflect what people want. And most of them are like these weird actors they shove on there, and they set up these things where they go, oh, I'm a victim. Do you know what? If anyone actually takes the money to be one of these priceless actors, they really are sad people if they do that, because they're just supporting this, what's going on, this weird narrative where we can go to war. They have to actually acknowledge that maybe with their priceless acting, that people may die because of what they do. Doing, pretending they're the victims, or this is how it played out. But this is what happens when people are quite weak-minded and vulnerable. They get taken advantage by these little ads on Craigslist and stuff like that from billionaires, and that's the way they're going to solve the world. So yeah, it's frightening. It's frightening. And they're collecting lots of information about people so they can use them. The number one enemy seems to be the civilian population. The levels of spying and interest and what people are doing on their own ground, their own turf, is like I say, it's quite horrifying. It's the amount of information. I had a client I went to, and there's some emails she hadn't used for years. She closed down an account and all sorts. And then with her phone, it updated, and it included all these contacts that she hasn't had anything to do with for years. So just popped out of the woodwork. There was no link to a current email address. It's linked to something to in the past. It makes you wonder, this digital whip, this sort of fingerprint that's following the people around for collected information. And also people don't have a say how this information is being used. It's been assumed that you're happy with that. Other concerns, like with Facebook, I've noticed when I use my phone, I go on there and it's sort of suggesting do I want to update with these pictures I've taken, and they were pictures from a wage slip. I'd emailed them across to, I don't know, to somebody who asked for this information. But I definitely don't want to stick them on Facebook. And the fact is that Facebook is showing you what it would look like, means that they've accessed the information and they've already got it saved. So it's really concerning. I think that's why I'm so to be careful about what you put on Facebook. I mean, that's what normally people say is you don't want it to be sterile. But when I went on Facebook, it was just for a laugh, and it still is just for a laugh. And if I put things on and people don't get it and stuff like that, I mean, I'm not putting on sort of stupid pictures about things. I just airing out my thoughts like I do pretty much on YouTube and sort of stuff, you know, or I'm interested in particular things. And people worry about that because they think, oh my goodness, he's interested in UFOs. Doesn't mean he's crazy, and all. They're sort of caught back in the old paradigms, and that's because if they looked it up on their sort of browser, it'd come up with things with tinfoil hats and stuff like that. I just generally research the phenomenon. So, and also I've had my own experiences when I was a lot younger that I couldn't explain in this sort of paranormal sort of remit. And this is why I sort of bring this stuff to the forefront, because there's other people out there having experiences, but some people, they saw, say, a shadow person, they would have the fear of God in them, they're going to die. I did hear about someone, basically, she was a tenant, because I was working for the local council at the time, and yeah, she was like in the middle of the night, just feels like she'd been touched by something, some ghost, and she's screaming Jesus at the top of her lungs. It's because she doesn't know how to manage it. Maybe it does work for her, but it's just that scary level of screaming. So now she thinks it's like a demonic force that's out to get her. There may be some sort of an attraction or attachment. So yeah, and there's lots of things where it's dark. I mean, when it's light, you don't really, your mind focus and filters on what can be seen from light, what could be created from light. Like, when light bounces off, it generates a form. But when you look into, say, darkness, you might see things moving around it, and it could be your brain trying to rationalise stuff, or it could be they're actually already there. You haven't got the light to guide you. The filter's off basically, and you're getting these blurry, shadowy images in there. It's no different than camera. A camera might pick something up when it's being light's being scattered or it's being moved around. You can say, well, that's just a blurred image, but actually it could be the image underneath that normally wouldn't have much impact on the light around it. So yeah, that's definitely sort of interesting stuff. So going back to algorithms, they sort of predict controlling people. I think the idea was to first let it loose on the internet, see the impact. It's probably more effective than they realised, and then they're trying to now sort of tailor it and turn it into its control grid, and it's probably the future. The future of these will be where the archons are, basically just worshipping technology and have data currencies, which we've pretty much got now. I mean, paper currency doesn't really add up to anything. I think some elite people think they're loaded, loads of money, but it's just paper. It might be a point where it's survival, and quite frankly, you won't want to accept a load of dollars because they're not even worth anything. So, right, well, you know, a can of beans will be worth 10 grand or something like that. Something from the old world. It'd be sort of viewed as, you know, someone dug up some little storage of food, and that'd be like gold. So yeah, and that's really it, really. Actually, it's people with digital currencies put in the bank that they can't see, and they never would draw that much money out anyway. Everything's paid by debt, and the last biggest joke is that somebody turns that money, land or power, into gold and transferred it into something they can use, and basically ship that gold out of the country so no one can ever see it. I had something in the past with, I think it was 9/11 actually, when 9/11 come down. They were looking for some gold. See, there's some gold in the basement, I think. Or some data. They were looking for something anyway, something dodgy was going on. There's some talk about the Chinese were looking for stuff. Because there was some agreement in the past, and they were due to get it paid back. They made some arrangement with the Rothschilds to finance their banks or something. So yeah, so the money's probably all in Switzerland. That's really the headquarters of the elite. If shit goes down, that's where you need to go, really. And dig out some of the vaults, get all the gold. Prepare yourself for the potential for war. But you don't have to go mad, or you just have sort of a survival plan. But where'd you go? What do you eat? Have you got any sort of cans or dry food that you can use? I mean, these sorts of things are the provisions you need to sort of make for yourself, because only you can look after yourself, and that's really what it's about. Anything's important is family, community, but just keep an open mind with the media, because they just play you, and there's so many different sides in the media. Sort of like people sort of want to see the good in people, but sometimes it's not there when it plays out. And I think they say if you lie once, you lie about everything, almost, especially if you're in a position of a leader, hour or something. So yeah, anyway, this is Pixie sign off, and good morning, this is Pixie Dan. Today, actually, I don't know if it's like beamed in there. There's a lot of stuff to do with the death of Diana, the trauma, and there's all sorts of stuff. Yeah, so basically with vulnerability is that you get to sort of, you switch on your empathy to people and you can connect with them, and you all share these sort of common things like death, love and stuff like that. So it's a way you can build rapport with people or a mass group of people, and basically there's just more going on than simply remembrance or something like that. Right, I'm on the road now. I'm on the road. There's just too much activity. Yeah, basically, it's trauma-based mind control. So you're being seen as vulnerable. Is a part of a bigger scheme. It could be preparing people for news that the Queen's died. It's likely she probably already is dead, to be honest, and what you're seeing is doppelgangers playing out. So when they reach a certain point or they retire from their position, then they need to reel out the news, and she's just like the face of the shadow government, really, one of the faces. So what they're doing by the trauma-based mind control is they're setting you up for like a Diana type reaction. I think possibly because even though the Queen is sort of cherished as a sort of figurehead to the UK, she doesn't necessarily, people might not connect with her in the same way. I think of somebody like if they died, I think they'd mourn it, but it would be only for a short period of time. I don't think you'd be mourning her for sort of weeks and go by. I think a lot of people put flowers there just going to pay their respect. And then there's the next situation is who takes over as the leader for the monarchs, and Charles may have actually advocated by his marriage to Camilla, because I don't know who pulls the strings in the royal family. There's definitely a group that say you should marry this person or you can marry that person, that sort of thing. It might have like even though the bloodline, you think Will and Harry would be sort of the next choice. Actually, anybody who's related to the Queen could challenge that or has royal blood. It's no different as William the Conqueror. And especially if something happens, like we've got a lot of stuff to do with this Planet X, you know, because these omens, they're seen as omens. So if an asteroid comes down, they will see that as an omen that this person wasn't chosen by the Almighty to lead, so therefore we need to find someone else for the position to take over. And like I say, it could mean any of the sort of people claim they got royal heritage. In the past, they'd go to war. I don't know what they'd do nowadays. Go to war. I mean, they could do. That would be quite unusual. But a lot of us common folk probably have rights, probably have royal blood as well. So we could say, you know, it's a 9th or 52nd cousin or something. These people, now advocate my right to the throne, and then unless somebody's more eligible than myself, and I'd have to prove it, and then I'd sell myself politically, because they are a kind of political body. It just moved over to government with a different way of managing it. That was sort of like the day-to-day management, because if you're a queen or king or whatever, it's just too much stuff. People come in, land disputes and all sorts of things, and it acts as an overwhelming distraction from whatever their agenda is. So yeah, the royals go back far. What would my pledge be? I think I would get the trillions they've got stashed away and actually invest them in creating a new infrastructure in the UK and wherever else territory she owns. I think gold itself sat in a room doesn't really do any good. Better off, like I say, direct viable investment. That's what we call that. Or seeing the people, and I mean, people can go under some type of contract. They don't have to. I have to see what's happening around here. Okay, there's a tree getting knocked down where I live. So yeah, that's just something I was thinking about. And what's happened on the news. I think if you keep putting these particular royal faces in the news, people won't even do the research maybe, and how do you get to be a member of the royal family? Nobility and title. You haven't got accepted title. You've just got the bloodline. Therefore, you can accept a new title. Anyway, this is a big sign off, and